Hey guys, welcome back to my channel MI Tutorial. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. I post a lot of Excel tutorials which will help you in your day-to-day job. Now, this tutorial is a part 2 of my Learn VBA tutorial. So I'll leave the link to the part 1 of the tutorial in the description below. You can check that out. So let's get started with today's tutorial, where I have about 8 topics which I'm going to cover today. So let's begin with how to select sheets in VBA. I'm going to bring up my VBA editor by clicking Alt F11 and quickly going to delete all the subs over here. And there's another way where you can bring up the VBA editor is from the developer tab. Now if you don't know how to enable the developer tab, please watch the part 1 of this video, which will help you enable the developer tab. And you can click on this Visual Basic icon here, and I'm going to begin with sub, select sheet, click on enter. So I'm going to say sheets, and I'll just go back to refer to my workbook here. So I'm in sheet 4 currently. Let's say if I want to select sheet 2, I'm going to type in sheets, sheet 2, close the bracket, comma, select. Now you can run the macro by pressing F5 button, or you can just press this small play button over here. I'm going to press this button and go back to my workbook, and as you can see, sheet 1 is selected. Sheet 1, now which I have entered here, sheet 1 is selected. Now let's move on to our next topic, which is add sheets. So I'll create a new sub once again here. I'll say add, just go sheets. You can rename whatever you want to. I'll just say sheets dot add. So this is a very simple syntax here which lets you add a new sheet in Excel. So let's go back to the workbook now. So as you can see, sheet 7 has been created. Now let's rename this sheet 7 to something meaningful. So I'll create a new sub rename. I'm going to say active sheet dot name is equals to, let's say I'm going to say MI tutorial, that's my channel name, and I'm going to run the macro again by pressing this icon over here. So as you can see, the sheet 7 which we had created has now been renamed to MI tutorial. So let's move on to our next topic, which is delete sheet. So I'm going to quickly add a new sub once again, and I'm going to say sheets, open quote, and I'm going to delete the sheet which we just created. So I'm just going to go and copy this sheet name over here. I'm going to close the quote, close the bracket, dot delete, and when I run this macro, it's going to throw up a dialog box which basically tells that I cannot undo deleting sheets, and I might be removing some data. If you don't need, click delete, right? I'm going to click on delete. Now the reason why a dialog box appeared is because it was a critical warning. And now let's say if you don't want the dialog box to appear, so before the delete code, you can just type in a code which says application dot display alerts is equals to false. So basically what this does is it will not show any of the dialog box or warnings which come up when you run the macro. So let's go back and run the macro once again. Now I don't have a new sheet here which says MI tutorial. Sheet name said MI tutorial. I'm going to quickly add this. I'm going to run this sub. I'm going to press the F5 button, and then I'm going to select this, press the F5 button. So if we go back to our workbook, now we have a new sheet as MI tutorial. And let's go and run this delete sub once again, and if I click this, the macro has run, but it has not given any, there was no pop-up this time because the display alert, we had set that to false. And as you can see, the MI tutorial sheet has been deleted. So let's move on to our next topic, which is copy data from one column to another. So for this, I'm going to select sheet 2 here, or rather let me go to sheet 1, and I'm going to create a new sub saying copy. So the topic is to copy data from one column to another. So I'm just going to copy, let's say I want region to be copied in column L. So I'm just going to type in sheets, sheet 1, close the bracket, comma, range. I want the column B to be copied to column L. So I'm going to type in B to B, close the code, close the bracket, dot, copy, space, and I'm going to type in sheets, sheet 1, dot, range, L1. Now you can change the sheet 1 to any of the sheet where you want to copy the data, and I'm just going to run this macro now. And if you go back to the sheet here, you can see that the data from column B has been automatically copied to column L. Alright, so let's move on to our next topic, which is cut data from one column to another. Now let's go back to the VBA editor again. I'm just going to copy the same thing once again here and rename the sub to say cut. So the entire syntax remains same. Instead of copy, I'm going to change this to cut and run the same macro once again. And as you can see, the data from column B has been deleted and the same has been pasted in column L. Moving on to our next topic, which is copy data from one sheet to another and clear content. So let's say I want the data from column L need to be copied to sheet 4 in column F, and I want to delete the data from sheet 1. So I'm going to quickly go and copy this into a new sub, cut, paste. I'm just going to rename that. I'm going to select my range L where I need to cut the data, and then I need to select this. I need to enter sheet 4 and my range is L1. I'm going to run this macro now, and as you can see, the data has now been, let me just reduce this size and go to column L. So as you can see, we are now in sheet 4. The data has been pasted in L. So let's go back and check in sheet 1. The sheet 1 data has been deleted. Okay, so now let's move on to our next and last topic for the day, which is clear contents from all sheets. As you can see, there are multiple sheets in this particular workbook and which has data, and I want to create a macro which will delete the contents from all these sheets in one go. We'll be using a for each loop to create this macro. I'm going to quickly go to press Alt F11 and bring up the dialog box, bring up the VBA editor, and I'm going to start with sub delete underscore all. We'll begin our code with dim ws as worksheet. What we're doing here is worksheet. What we're doing here is we are defining ws as a variable and saying that ws is going to be a worksheet. And we'll start with our for each loop, and we say for each ws in this workbook dot worksheets ws dot cells dot clear contents, saying that for every worksheet in this workbook you need to go and clear the contents, and we're going to say next ws. So basically next ws is that we are asking VBA to go to the next sheet and repeat the same thing once again. And so let's go back and let's run this macro now, and we'll not be able to recover the data once it is deleted by macro. I'm going to press the F5 button or press this play button here, and let's go back to our sheet here. As you can see, the data has been deleted. Let's go back to our sheet 1 and let's check the other sheets as well, and as you can see, there's no data now. Everything has been deleted. And with that, we've come to an end of this part 2 of my VBA tutorial. I hope this video has helped you. One thing that I would like to suggest is that after watching this video, I want you guys to practice this in your own Excel workbooks, which will help you learn VBA very quickly. So please subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this video and learned something new. Also comment down below if you have any questions related to Excel, SQL or VBA. I'll be happy to help you. Thank you so much for watching.